Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Milka. I go by Milka the Movement, and I'm so happy you guys are tuning in for another craziness of my life, as you can tell by the title. But before we get into that, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell to get notifications about when I upload new videos. Remember, I will be uploading videos every Wednesday, so please set a reminder on your phone. You know, write it down wherever so you could tune in to get more tea about what's going on in my life and, of course, what's going on in the world. What else? I hope y'all are doing good. I don't really have like an intro video or like an intro song or anything just yet because, you know, I'm just starting out. So I hope I get one. But that first minute or so of a video I'm always a little like, dang, what should I talk about? What should I say? Like, what more is there to say? A lot of time and a lot of YouTubers use this time to like plug stuff, and I don't really have much to plug at this point in my career. I just have my TikTok and my YouTube. Oh, shop my Amazon storefront. There we go. There we go. Be sure to check out the affiliate links that I may have in the bottom of this. I do receive commission, and I got fired, so this is my only source of income for right now. So y'all, please click, buy. It is my Amazon storefront, so you can browse through that and see some of the things that I've purchased myself, some of the things that I like, just products that I really stand by. So be sure to browse my Amazon storefront. There we go. We got it. So let's get into it. As you could tell by the title, I got fired from my job. I got fired from my job, I would say two or 3 weeks after I got my car repossessed. If you did not watch that video, I will also include it in the link. You can that is a whole whirlwind in itself. But I got fired from my job 2 or 3 weeks after I got repossessed. After my car got repossessed. And I don't know, it was a crazy feeling. So the job that I had actually just got in November. It was a remote position. It was a little bit of technical work and data entry. I didn't like it. It wasn't really what I wanted to do, but because it was remote and it seemed very flexible, I tried my best and I tried to keep it. Man, I don't even know where to start. So why I got fired? I got fired because my boss just felt like I wasn't doing the work. And when I did the work, it was just a lot of mistakes. And she's not wrong. She is not wrong. I did not get hired through this company directly. I worked with a recruiter. Now, this was an older company. It was a large company. It was a utility company. So they mostly did I guess it was an electric company. It was a very popular electric company in the South region of the nation. If you put two and two together, you guys will know who I'm talking about, but I won't say their name. And I worked in utilities before. I actually liked working in utilities. So I was really excited for this job. I thought it would be a great fit. I was so excited. My supervisor was Black, which my supervisor when I worked at utilities before was Black. So I was a contractor. But when I first got hired, I did talk about the possibility of getting a more permanent position. But, you know, I knew that would just kind of take time. So I wasn't too pressed about it. And the pay was good. And the company that I was contracted with offered benefits. So it wasn't a bad deal. I felt I was very comfortable with the job for sure. Number one, I did not like the work. I know y'all gonna be like, Milka, people have to do stuff that they're doing all the time. True, but I did not like the work, and it wasn't hard. It was just tedious, and I hate tedious work. Like, I would rather do no work than do tedious work. And I didn't like the work. I liked the job, if that makes any sense. I liked the job. I liked my supervisor, but I did not like the work that I had to do. It was just so tedious. It was like, and then the worst part is, I've had jobs before, and there's been time for extended period of time where I had to do work that I didn't actually like doing. But a lot of those times I had things to make me feel better. Like I either had coworkers that I was working with that I liked, I had my music that I could listen to, or podcast, or, have a show playing in my ear as I was doing the work. I had something that I could cling on to make the work more bearable as I was doing it, because I didn't like it. With this job, I didn't have that. I had to use my ears because I was listening to calls. Part of my job included listening to calls. And it just bothered me because I couldn't listen to music. I couldn't, have a podcast or something playing in the background. I had to actually listen to listen. And so imagine, think of something that you don't like doing, and think of not having something to make it more bearable for you. And that's where I was with that job. It was just unbearable. Another issue that I had was that I found stuff that I like to do. So for example, I loved creating content, right? And I would say November, December of last year, I decided that I wanted to be a full-time content creator. I wanted to just jump in full-time into being an influencer. However, I did not have the money, or I didn't know anything about the industry, and I had bills. So I got a job. In my mind, I thought this is going to sound so bad. I hope no employer or recruiter ever sees this. But in my mind, I thought I would get a remote job. I would do my best to learn the skill as quick as I can. So by the time January, February came rolling around, I could do the work within 3 to 4 hours of the day, still get paid for 8 hours, and then use the rest of the time to create content. And so with the job that I had, it was I could not get all the work done, the work that they wanted me to get done. I could not get it done in 3 to 4 hours. The work that they were assigning for me was a full 8 hours, and that just really pissed me off. I know y'all gonna be in the comments, that's what you're there for, that's what you're there for. And I'm I get it, but that wasn't my plan. So what happened a lot of times is I would really fall behind on my work because I did not want to do the work for a full 8 hours. And I know it sounds crazy as it's coming out of my mouth, but I would really fall behind on my work, and then it would play this game of catch up. Then I would put my team behind, and it just wasn't. It was starting to become an issue. I could tell my supervisor, she was very patient. She was very nice. I'll give her that. She was a good supervisor. I could tell that she was getting a little bit, frustrated, concerned, because at the end of the month, I was supposed to produce a report, and I always had to get help with the report. I don't think there was ever a month where I did the full report by myself. And in addition to us always getting help, we were always behind. So the report was supposed to be submitted by the 20th, grace period, maybe 2-3 days. We were submitting the report the 24th, the 20 something. So it wasn't good. I wasn't doing my best, but I knew that I wasn't doing my best because, my job was secondary. It wasn't a job. It wasn't primary for me. At this point, I wanted to, really understand influencing and making money online. So that became primary for me. Another issue that I had with the job was the pay. My job paid me more than I've made in a long time. Or not in a long time, more than I've made, more than I was getting paid with any job that I had previously. But with the rise of inflation, with me not having a roommate, living on my own, and me just having other expenses, the money that I was making was just not enough. It was not enough, y'all. I was living paycheck to paycheck. I had never lived paycheck to paycheck before in my adult life. Like, even if I had another paycheck coming, I just always had money saved or stashed somewhere. So if another paycheck didn't come, it wasn't a big deal. Not to say that like I could live without working, but it was like, you know, I never got behind on my bills because I just always had different money everywhere. At this point in my life, I had nothing. I have nothing saved. I had no money hidden. Like, I was literally living paycheck to paycheck. So imagine me doing work that I already don't like, not being able to use the things to make it more bearable I couldn't use because that was take away from the job, constantly falling behind and living paycheck to paycheck. That is not the most motivating situation for someone to give their best. I know everyone's going to have their ideas, their opinions, their thoughts. Listen, all of that is cool. I'm just sharing with y'all my experience. That is not the most motivating place for someone to be giving their best, especially if you're struggling financially. I think that if I was like living comfortably, and okay, let me take that back. I do live comfortably, but it's at a paycheck to paycheck cost. If I would, well, no, I take that back. I don't live comfortably because I got to sit there and make decisions on which bills to pay. If I was like living comfortably, if I was like, you know, taking vacations, going to concerts, doing whatever, doing more recreational activities outside of work that would like, you know, motivate me and make me happy, etc., I think I would have been more motivated to at least put in more effort. And because like that wasn't happening, like I didn't have money to take a vacation. I didn't have money to go shopping or to go out to eat with my friends or to, you know, go to a theme park. I didn't have money to do anything recreational. Once my bills were paid, that was it. I think if I did, I would have been more motivated to do my best. After a while, it just felt like all I would do is work. The only outlet I had was content creation. That was it. That was the only thing that I got to do that was for me. That was the only thing I got to do that was fun. I couldn't afford to do anything else. And that bothered me. Excuse me, because that wasn't the kind of lifestyle that I was used to living. That wasn't the kind of lifestyle that like, you know, like I went to school for or I imagined for myself at this point in time, but there was nothing more that I could do about it. It was like a crazy feeling. It's like, this isn't what I want, but what can I do? Nothing, because this is the job that I have. So that just made it very difficult. So as a result, that just made me even less motivated to do my best or to try. That made me more motivated to try to be an influencer and really learn how to do that. But it made me less motivated to do my actual job. Now, again, I felt like this at some of my previous jobs. I actually felt like this at a lot of my jobs, if I'm being 100% honest. But the difference was I at least had money to go travel. And that's what I would do. Like when I would feel like this, when I was feeling unmotivated, or I was just feeling down, I would just book a trip and go somewhere. Whether it was Vegas, whether it was Chicago, whether it was freaking what's that place that I went to? Detroit. I would just go. Sometimes I would go and I would just sit in my hotel room and, you know, like just hang out and lounge in my hotel. But I just had money to go places. Like I had disposable income. And for the first time in my life, I did not have any disposable income. And that was not a good life for me. That was not a good life for me. And I don't know. I can't stress this enough. I had never lived a life where all my money just went towards paying bills. Like seeing every month you get your paycheck and then within a few hours that whole thing is gone because you had bills to pay. Like, and that's happening every time you get paid. I had never lived like that, y'all. I had never lived like that. And I know, like, you know, this is how a lot of everyday Americans live. But yeesh, That is a hard life. Even if you're making the money that, like, you know, no matter how much money you're making, if all your money are constantly going to bills and you can't have just you know, $75 for yourself, that's not a good, that's not living. And then in addition to that, like, I couldn't save anything. I couldn't save a dime, which was another thing that was so new to me, like just not having a savings and then not being able to save anything, like not being able to contribute anything into a savings. Like, that was new. And then, like, falling behind on bills, like having to like ration out, like, you know, you have your last $100 or $200 left. Which bill can you pay? Which, you know, like, you know, needing to choose between having to put gas in your car or paying a bill, like all this stuff. If I had to make that decision, I'm sure there was one point I had to. A lot of the times it was because of the money that I had that was readily available. It wasn't because that was the money that I had, period. This was the first time in my life where that was the money that I had, period. So I had all this stuff going through my mind. And then, mind you, my car got repossessed. So I had all this stuff going through my mind, and all that stuff would just weigh on me day in and day out. Because it's like, you're working, but what difference is your work really making? You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not making a difference in someone's life. It's not making a difference in the community. It's barely making a difference in your life. So like, what's the point? And I think I had only worked at this job for 4 months. And I would say within the second month, I was feeling that way. Just extremely unmotivated. The ideal thing that I should have done was, if I started to feel that way, I probably should have just started looking for another job, because my work was not going to be its best. I knew that something was happening. Within my job. I knew that to some capacity I was going to get transitioned out. And this is how I knew that I was going to get transitioned out. This is the first thing that bothered me. The job that I was supposed to do, I was supposed to be the only one doing it. And then they added another person to my team. It was never discussed with me. It was never brought to me. Like, it wasn't like, hey, we're adding another person to a team. It was like, hey, here's a training for you. And by the way, this other person will be attending that training as well. And the fact that, like, it was never spoken to me, I always in my mind knew that this person was either going to replace me, or I just knew that both of us couldn't be there. I knew that I always felt like when they added the second person to the team, they were testing that person out to see if they could do the job quicker. And they were either just going to phase me out, or this person was just going to completely replace me. I never ever trusted it, because when I got hired, I was the only person that was supposed to be doing that job. The second way that I knew that something was going to happen, I just didn't know when, was that they had a meeting. So it's my supervisor, this other person, and then the new girl that was added to the team, my replacement. They had a meeting without me. And that happened like 3 or 4 weeks before I got fired. And that was highly, highly, highly suspicious for me. Because I was just like, what y'all got to talk about that I'm not in the meeting for? And this is how I knew that they were having a meeting. Because, you know, the job is remote. So we use Microsoft Teams, as a lot of remote companies do. And so I was messaging the girl from my team plus the other person. And I was messaging them both in separate chats, but at the same time. And so both of their chats went red at the exact same time. And then I was like, And they weren't responding to my messages as quickly, or at one point they weren't responding at all. So I was like, let me see if my supervisor is in the meeting. She was in the meeting too. Now, I didn't have access to their calendars, or I didn't have access, like, oh, I didn't have access to see who they were meeting with. But I thought it was real suspicious that they were all in the meeting at the same time, and I was not privy to that meeting. I was not invited into that meeting. So that made me feel very suspicious and a little uncomfortable, because it's like, if y'all gonna plan my, you know, if y'all planning, whatever y'all planning, no. So after that meeting, I actually ended up sending my supervisor a message, just kind of asking her like, hey, is everything okay? I just noticed that we haven't been in communication, because I thought she would like fill me in or tell me something, but we just talked about other stuff and she never really mentioned that meeting. So I kind of knew that something was suspicious. And because of that, that put me on high alert. I did go back to trying to do the work that I should have been doing daily. There was a certain amount of work that I had to do every day to make sure that the report was done within, you know, the 20 days. And so I would try to push myself to do that. And y'all, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. When I would push myself to do it, I would leave work every day feeling so drained. Like, although my body didn't feel tired, my mind felt like mush. Like, it was just out there. And that bothered me, because not only did I feel tired and I didn't want to do anything, but I didn't have the energy or the mental capacity to create any content, which was really important to me. So I don't know. I felt like I was at that job longer than I should have been. I felt like once it became clear that I didn't like the work, I should have just started either looking for other jobs. But fired is just it's a weird feeling, but there's always relief, because I could honestly say most of the time that you get, a lot of the times where, in my case, where I've gotten fired, I can kind of feel that something was off. And even before I felt something was off, I kind of felt like there wasn't a good fit. And I'm going to talk about that more in another video, because I think that that's really, really, really important. But I got fired. Right now, you know, I'm still looking for work, but I'm also really taking the time to create as much content as I can, and just try my best to, you know, survive. Shout out to my mom. She's been helping me with my bills. So shout out to you, Mom. I love you, girl. But that's just it. That's just it, man. I know I started out with so much energy, and now my energy is so low, because thinking about my job experiences and work, it takes your soul. It takes your soul. But anyways, guys, that's all I have for y'all right now. That's all I have for y'all today. Please be sure to subscribe. Follow me on TikTok. Show me love in the comments. If you have a crazy fired story, please type it in. Let us know what's going on in your world. If you have any tips to avoid getting fired, please share those too. Like, just let us know. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you guys, and I will see y'all next time.